defense ministers, none of the cantonal authorities. The Arab militias respond to the Arab councils, sometimes the Muslim Brotherhood, so they're responsible for their own. The Syriac councils, the Christian councils, or Christian militias are responsible for their councils. So each one of these police forces, each one of these militias have different responsibilities and different people that they're responsible to. So by definition, Rojava is not a state. It is, in fact, an anarchist society. That said, we actually have to deal with these guys, the Marxist-Leninist Communist Party, who are an unreconstructed Stalinist party. I didn't even know that was possible. But they're not, they are. And they have great propaganda, like Rojava is slowly moving towards a Stalinist state, exactly what it needs to be, that type of stuff. I mean, really moving, propaganda. Brought tears to my eyes. So last Rashad story. So I'm with Rashad, and we're talking about because he thinks he's headed to the front in effort. And we're talking about, different militias and things like that. And he says, well, what do you think of these guys? And I said, well, my history is such that I don't really trust them very much. And he said, yeah, well, what would you do with them? And I said, you don't want to ask me that. He said, what would you do with them? I said, I'd put them in the front with slingshots, So, next one. A word about Kurdish culture, and you guys are finally going to get this. I've been telling this story for 40 times and nobody's got it until now, I know. So I was at Osaka City. I only went to the front once. The war didn't interest me that much. I was more interested in the revolution. Coming back, the translator that I was with, Muhammad, all the restaurants in Kobani were closed, and he said, well, let me call my mom. Maybe she can prep us something. I said, okay, so great. So he called up, and we were there an hour later, and this is what she gave to us. So it was an amazing breakfast, but you don't often think of olives as a breakfast food, but they certainly are in Rojava. And then this plate right next to them, those are Kurdish chili rellenos, okay? So, yeah, no kidding, no, serious. So this is an Anaheimer Big Boy chili that's been split in half, the seeds stripped out, cheese and spices put in, and then preserved in hot oil. And these are amazing. I smuggled these across like 4 international borders to have them with breakfast every morning. They were awesome. They were amazing. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I was just in Canada trying to explain the chili relleno, and then the mythology of the relleno just doesn't follow. This is Muhammad, the translator that I had, and this is his dad, and this is his brother. One of the questions that I kind of got asking myself near the end of the trip was, how deep does this revolution really flow with these Kurdish families and in Kurdish culture? Because it appears to be like it's like the air that they breathe. I mean, it's just something that just is part of them. So, and I thought Muhammad's story is pretty unique. So, in Kurdish culture, the oldest son in a family, his name is considered to be somehow definitional for the entire generation. In other words, for all the children that come next. And it's very patriarchal. It's the male child, not the female child. So Muhammad's the oldest child in this family. And the original name that he was given is Ajit. And Ajit is the name of the first PKK soldier who fired the first bullet at the first Turkish soldier, killing him, beginning the war in 1984. It is as revolutionary as any name you could choose in the Kurdish language. Easily as revolutionary as anything you could choose in the Kurdish language. So revolutionary, in fact, that he had to change it when he was 5 or 6 years old, because all the little Arab boys in Kobani knew what it meant and beat him up because of it. So his name was eventually changed to Muhammad, to be able to alleviate some of the pressure on him. So I guess the answer then to the question, how deep does it flow? Like I said, it's just like some deep flowing river that is just a part of kind of the Kurdish understanding and the Kurdish experience. And this family is not a revolutionary family. Their home has no pictures of Öcalan in it. There's no YPG or YPJ flags. No outward show of any type of any revolutionary, resonance at all with this family. And yet that was the name they chose for their oldest son. I thought that was really telling. So. This is Malatesta. Malatesta is the only cat at the only hotel in Kobani. And for those of you who remember pictures of Malatesta, you'll remember he was an extremely short, diminutive Italian, looking rather like this cat. And I had kind of a black, it looked like he always had a black eye and would torment the kitchen staff. And I also thought it was good because as anarchists, I mean, we've all met anarchist animals, right? Like everybody's met probably an Emma Burkett or an Alexander Burkett or whatever, you know. And if you know Aragon, the guy who publishes Ardent Press, one of his dogs is named Cholgaj, right? So, I mean, you just can't help but meet anarchist animals. And, you know, here we have in Kobani exactly another animal, you know, named after an anarchist, so. Means long live Rojava. And I think that's pretty much the end. My stuff, the dispatches that I wrote are available on the internet for free at this website. And I wrote 7 dispatches about what happened, and then I've got an essay coming out on Crime Think on their blog regarding some lessons of Rojava. But I will say one of the things that I think it addresses to us, and has anybody seen this month's Roar magazine about the communes? Right? If you haven't seen it, you should take a look at it. It's really good. But I think one of the things that I learned from Rojava is the fact that this commune form, however we define it, however we work on it, and it can be anything from, you know, a group of people who meet once a month, or it could be people who live together and grow corn, doesn't matter, might be one of the organizational forms that in future we might be interested in experimenting with and learning about. So that's kind of one of the huge pieces that I got out of my trip to Kobani, my trip to Rojava. And I thought, again, to show a little bit of the culture, I came back, my taxi driver was rather an enthusiastic YPG guy. And he would play me revolutionary music. And he played this song, which is a song in Arabic, saluting the YPG and encouraging young Arabic men to join the YPG.
بادر بالانتساب إلى قوات اليبكة.
Those are the words.
الله حي يحمي الشعب ظلم اليبكة. الله حي يحمي الشعب ظلم اليبكة. مال العزة والكرامة ظلم اليبكة. كل الفخر والشهامة ظلم اليبكة. حي اليبكة. حي اليبكة. حي اليبكة. حي اليبكة. الله حي يحمي الشعب ظلم اليبكة. الله حي يحمي الشعب ظلم اليبكة. شباب الكرد والعرب والمسيح أقوى. مع قوى اليبكة نحمي بالقوة. شباب الكرد والعرب والمسيح أقوى. مع قوى اليبكة نحمي بالقوة. نحمي أرض الوطن نزرع به الأمل. نحمي أرض الوطن نزرع به الأمل. الله حي يحمي الشعب ظلم اليبكة. الله حي يحمي الشعب ظلم اليبكة. تحية سلام وحب تحية من القلب. يبكة يسهر ينام يسهر يحمي الشعب. تحية سلام وحب تحية من القلب. يبكة يسهر ينام يسهر يحمي الشعب. يكتب روح الشعب يكتب عمر الشعب. يكتب روح الشعب يكتب عمر الشعب. الله حي يحمي الشعب ظلم اليبكة. الله حي يحمي الشعب ظلم اليبكة. الله حي يحمي الشعب ظلم اليبكة. الله حي يحمي الشعب ظلم اليبكة.
That is a presentation. Thanks for coming out.